Well, here's my journey with guy wires. Well, first of all, you need these tools. One of them is a swage tool. Essentially, it's a crimping tool for these special thimbles that you have and swages. And the other is a cutting tool. You need a clean cut on the stainless steel ropes. Couple of ropes available, obviously at a 4mm one, really strong, and 3.2 mil. I actually used a 3.2 mil because it suffices for my needs as such. It comes in these 30-meter rolls. Both of them are available at Bunnings. The roll's about $30 or something like that, around that figure. Obviously I needed 4 of those, more than enough to do a relatively good mast. Mine was 6 meters with 2 points of guys. Right, we need these thimbles, and we need to secure these thimbles to the rope, and this is where we use that swage tool. And there are specific swage sizes. This one's 3.2 millimeter. The tool is essentially a crimper, but it's a special crimper for these devices. The swages are actually made out of copper. They're sort of tin plated, but essentially it's copper, so they are quite soft. And the whole idea is that with this compression, it literally sort of fuses itself into the rope, into all the little, well, crevasses, I suppose, because the rope is just sort of wound all together. And it is a really strong bond. It's highly unlikely that it'll slip out. So that's a close look at it. Obviously I'm not going to do a crimp, it's already been crimped there, but it'll just give you an idea how it works. There's various sizes. This one actually, I haven't really tried it with 4 mils. I think it will work, but it does 3.2s no problem. Okay, so that's the way that the crimper works. Obviously it's important to be able to cut the wires so you can have a nice clean bit, so you can, when you put it for the thimble and terminate it, it'll be nice and clean. And I must admit that cutting tool is really good. It's not easy to cut stainless steel rope. I don't know how long this will last. They're relatively cheap tools, but put it this way, for the number of cuts that I had to make, the tool is still new. So you'll probably get your mileage out of it. Yeah, you just sort of put it in there in these opposing blades as such, and yeah, just apply some force and it does a really clean cut. So yeah, that's the close-up of it. Not difficult to use, relatively easy. 3.2 mil is quite well served by this tool. I haven't cut the 4 mil, but I suppose since the diameters of the wires are pretty much the same, maybe even thinner on the 4 mil rope, so I think it should be okay. These are the swages and rope wire thimbles. Obviously these ones are the ones that I've used for the rope that I had, the 3.2 mil. But there's some other handy little devices that I had to use. Some of those are quite evident. One handy device that you will need is the D-shackle. Then you've got the other things like this particular clamp, or what do you call it, a variable eyelet one. I suppose the real name, it's a quick link, and they come in different sizes obviously, depending on the ropes you use and the joints that you're going to be making. That's the D-shackle. D-shackle comes in very handy because it's used to terminate the actual bolts or lag screws that I've used, and you'll see that in a minute. But one of the most important things is to have these turnbuckles. They come in various sizes, depending how much freedom you want and how much tightness you want. If you're really good at cutting the lengths and you know exactly how to do it, this particular size should be sufficient. you don't really need the big ones. Now these are the actual lag screws. What I've done, my joists are such in the roof are sort of exposed. Well, you know, there's a bit of tin there, so I drilled a 10 mil hole, and then I put these I drilled the hole into the tin, and then I screwed these lag screws into the joists, and they're really strong. Put it this way, it'll probably be, well, the wire will be able to pull out the lag screw, right? It's strong enough for doing that, but you're talking about over 100 kilos of brute force, and since there's 4 lag screws and there's 4 guys, you're talking about 400 kilos of force required to rip the whole thing apart. Other little handy things are these stainless steel pulleys. There's also the little rope grips, just in case you need to sort of terminate some things that don't need to be crimped. And just to give you an idea, if you really got a really heavy wire, you're going to use that 4 mm one with 900 kilograms of force, you can use those ginormous eyelets. Now I actually got some chain as well. I had to sort of mount certain things really strong, and this is sort of my go-to. It's quite quite potent. You're talking about 700 kilos, but it's not too bad. It's not too expensive, and you can use that, and obviously you can put it through the actual uh, quick links and so forth to secure it to whatever posts you need. Now, getting back to this wire, the 4 mm wire can handle 180 kilos on load, but the braking force is over 900 kilos. So I don't think you'll need anything bigger than that for whatever mast you've got. Here's a close-up of the structure of the ropes. The little picture shows it all. It's a relatively strong rope. This one, particularly the one that I use, the 3.2, has a braking force of 590 kilos and 115 safe working load. More than adequate for my needs. The 4 mil obviously has a stronger braking force and working load. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. That's my journey with the guy wires.